Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Oh, yes, you should mention halacha that I think we said it in the past. If you hear bracha which is online in live stream, so you answer Amen. If you hear bracha when recorded, shir, so you don't say Amen. So that's the reason is when you hear the bracha, even if you don't hear the bracha itself, let's say you know now that someone is saying She'akol, and you know he's saying now She'akol, he's now, as you can say Amen, even if you don't hear the bracha itself. There was a shul in Alexandria in Egypt. It was a very, very big shul. And not everyone could hear the Chazan. They used to raise flags whenever the Chazan got to the bracha. So someone who was following the tefillah knows, okay, now they're in Rifa'inu, now they're in Baruch Aleinu, now they're in Shema Kolenu, and people could say Amen. So to answer, I mean, you don't need to hear the blessing itself. You just need to know that someone said a blessing now and what blessing he said. But when you hear blessing, also you aren't Yotzi Dechovah by hearing it from Zoom. You can just say Amen. Being Yotzi Dechovah, that's more of a problem around Purim. We discussed it and said most poskim or many poskim they say you can't be Yotzi Dechovah by hearing a bracha or Megillah or Haftalah or something on Zoom. So that's just going to say the bracha. So mentioned the halachot of brachot on Zoom or live stream. Okay, so last week we discussed the halachot of saying the Haggadah, right? Saying the Haggadah. And I thought we'll continue the halachot of the Seder and mitzvot we have on the Seder night. So what mitzvot do we have on the Seder night? So Sipur Tzat Mitzrayim, that's a mitzvah, a very important mitzvah. Kol hamarbe harei hu meshubach, harei ze meshubach. The more you tell, that's the better. We discussed that last week, the details of it and why do you say it, like questions and answers. We talked about living the story. What other mitzvot do we have? Midoraita or Drabanan? We have eating matzah, eating maror, and the 4 cups of wine. Okay, so that's the mitzvot we have. The mitzvah we have, which is still the oraita, we said, is saying the Haggadah. That's why we began with that mitzvah. And then we have the mitzvah, which is the oraita of eating matzah. During the times of Beit HaMikdash, we also had the mitzvah of eating korban pesach and eating korban chagiga. And when Beit HaMikdash existed, we also had the mitzvah midoraita of eating maror, which is now rabbinical. And we also have a mitzvah midorabanan of eating or drinking 4 cups of wine. So the mitzvah midoraita we have is eating the matzah, and the mitzvah we have, which are rabbinical, is maror and the 4 cups of wine. And it's important to notice if it's something that's midoraita or drabanan when we get to, hopefully this week, and if not, so next week, when we get to the measurements. Because a very big question we have on Pesach is how much and how fast do we need to eat the matzah and the maror and drink the wine. So that's something which hopefully we'll get to this week, but if not, next week. Perhaps we should have started with the matzah because that's a mitzvah midoraita. But because the first thing we meet on Ela Seder is the wine, the kiddush, and then we meet the Haggadah, the 2nd cup on the Magid. So then we'll start with the wine, and then we'll get to the matzah. Okay, so we'll start with the wine. Every holiday we have a mitzvah of doing kiddush. On Shabbat we have a mitzvah of doing kiddush. The mitzvah of kiddush, the basic of the mitzvah of kiddush is doraita. Zachor et yom HaShabbat lekadesho. We have to remember Shabbat, to sanctify Shabbat, to make Shabbat a holy day. Chazal, according to most poskim, it's a Chazal. They said, okay, we have the mitzvah midoraita of kiddush, and Chazal gave it a form. Instead of midoraita, you have to do some kind of kiddush. And Chazal gave it a form. How do you sanctify Shabbat? On a goblet of wine, a cup of wine. Okay, so kiddush, wine, that's important, it's special. So according to most poskim, kiddush is drabanan, but the basis of kiddush, at least for Shabbat, is midoraita. So that's for every holiday, and for every holiday we have the mitzvah of being happy, v'samachta b'chagecha, and simcha, and usually simcha is tied to eating good food, eating meat for most people, and drinking wine also for most people. So that's something which we have for every holiday. Leil Seder is something unique that Chazal, if they define even more, how do we sanctify That's Pesach. And how do we translate the idea of being happiness and being free? And I said one of the ways of doing it is drinking cups of wine. Drinking 4 cups of wine, and not just 4 cups of wine, drinking it in an order, in like a slowly, one after, not one, but drinking it slowly, slowly. דרך חירות, 4 קלאסית, דרך חירות תקינו רבנן. חז"ל did a takana of drinking wine in a way, in an action of freedom. Action of freedom. Now, if you see people who like in a more of a state of hunger, when they have food, they'll grab it fast and eat it fast. And when you know that you have a cup of wine is in front of you and you know that you're a free person, no one will take it from you. You have the time you want to drink it, so you spend time. You have a sip now, you have a cup now, wait a bit, talk a bit, schmooze a bit, have a cup later, right? One of the things we like to do on Shabbat is schmooze, right? It's schmooze. So in Israeli, actually, when I grew up, I didn't know it so much until I visited friends in Australia, and then after the salt in the States. Australia was even more of a ceremony. After the salt, also a bit in the States. You have the meal, and then this table is set up, and then you sit down, and then they clear up everything from the table. They mamash clear up everything from the table. Here in Israel, I think most families leave still a bit of the things on the table. And the first time I thought, what? They're clearing up everything? There's no desserts? And then I realized, no. Dessert is like another meal for itself because you have to wait a bit in between the meals and you schmooze and talk about. You have all the time in the world. Who's chasing you? And that's also one of the ideas in the 4 cups of wine. Another idea in the 4 cups of wine is a slave doesn't drink wine, okay, especially in those, even today. A slave drinks water. He takes from the well or from the wherever he can find water and drinks it. Wine, that's something important. So wine has importance in it. So one of the things of wine is important. The number 4 also has a few meanings of it. One of the meanings is Arba'a Leshonot Shel Geula, the 4 terms of redemption mentioned in the pasuk. V'hoseti, v'yitzalti, v'galti, v'lakachti, in the beginning of Va'era. Another thing of 4 is 4 usually shows something complete in this world. It's 4 directions. Hashem promises us, you expand, Yama, Vakedma, west and east, Safona, Vanegba, north and south. So something which shows something of whole. So that's a few ideas we have in the number 4. So Chazal gave the form of the cherut, of happiness and joy and freedom on Leila Seder to drink 4 cups of wine. In the action of being a free people, one of the important things of being a free people is you have time. According to most poskim, if someone drank all the 4 cups of wine, one after each other, he took a cup, drank, finished it, poured more wine, drank, he drank 4 cups, but one after each other, he wasn't Yosef. He didn't fulfill the mitzvah of Derech Harut. That's not how a free person drinks it. That's more in a rushed way of drinking wine, not in a, maybe you connect to it. Do you drink whiskey? You don't drink whiskey? Okay, first of all, also I don't drink a lot of whiskey, but when I drink a tiny bit and I enjoy it. I was sitting once in a Shalom Zachar, and someone brings an expensive bottle of whiskey. And people drink the whiskey, and most of the people like sipped it slowly, and enjoy the flavors of the wood or whatever you find in the whiskey. One of the people took a shot of whiskey and then just gobbled down. Saying, "What is he doing? That's not how you drink whiskey. You have to enjoy the same idea is by the wine. Enjoy it patiently. Okay, so each cup of wine we drink separately with something in between to show that we have here the idea of freedom. Another thing which Chazal gave a free person, freedom is not just that I don't have any, I'm not in a prison. Freedom is I have meaning in life. And because I have meaning in life, each cup has a mitzvah tied to it. Because a slave, he can maybe try and find meaning in his life, but from the way people look at him, at least, he doesn't have any meaning. He's supposed to fill some purpose of his owner. But a free person has meaning. He has choice. He can choose what to do. He can choose how to fill his life. So the idea of meaning, each cup has a mitzvah. So the first cup has a mitzvah of kiddush. The second cup has a mitzvah of saying the Haggadah. The third cup has the mitzvah of Birkat Hamazon, and the fourth cup has the mitzvah of Hallel. So really, each cup from the 4 cups has a mitzvah tied to it. If someone, I don't think this happens for our crowd here, but if someone is in a very, very big rush and he now has to cut his another short, there are some poskim who say if he drinks 4 separate cups, one after each other, as long as they're separate cups, he's Yosei Dechova, although it's better to say something in between, a bit of the Haggadah in between. And that's about the 4 cups and Derech Herut in a ray of freedom. A question which many ask is how much do we need to drink? And what do we drink? Can we drink wine? Can we drink grape juice? Can we drink a mixture? Red wine, white wine? What do we drink? So let's start from the amounts and time. Okay, amounts and time. Now a person needs to drink at least, or the cup needs to hold a revi'it halog, an amount called revi'it, and the person needs to drink at least most of the cup and at least melolugumav, which is the mouthful. Now, the question is, how much is revi'it? And because we have so much time and we're in exile and moving from place to place from the times of Chazal, unfortunately, there's a machloket. We don't know exactly how much a revi'it is. It's two main opinions.
Is it a rabbinic measurement or a Torah measurement?
We have the measurement of revi'it also in Torah things.
You do?
So there's 2 main opinions. What we call the Grach Na'eh, which is the smaller opinion, and we call the Chazon Ish, which is the larger opinion. This cup, this cup has inside 180 cc's, 180 mils. Okay, so that's 180 mils. According to the Chazon Ish, a revi'it needs to be about 150 cc's, 150 mils. Okay, so
150.
150. Okay, 150. So if that's 180, so according to the Chazon Ish, you need to have more or less most of this cup. According to the Grach Na'eh, so a revi'it is about half of that amount, which is about 86 cc's, 86 milliliters. Okay, so that's less than half a cup of this. So most of the Kiddush cups you have at home, they have a revi'it according to the Grach Na'eh. Maybe the shot glasses don't have, but it's on the bottom. If you look at it on the bottom, you have the amount or not. So since the 4 cups are rabbinical, so we say one, you should try and have, like the Chazon Ish, try and have 150 cc's. But since it's rabbinical, so you can rely on the Grach Na'eh, which many poskim follow the opinion of the Grach Na'eh, and have a cup of 86 cc's. 86 cc's. I think most Kiddush cups have 86 cc's in it, and drink most of those 86 cc's. Okay, drink 50 cc's of the cup. Okay, so that's the amount or measurement of revi'it. How long should drink it fast? Not drink it fast. Here we have a machloket. What's the time measurement for drinking a revi'it? According to some poskim, if I remember correctly, it's a Rambam. You need to drink a revi'it or most of the revi'it in a time it takes to drink a revi'it in a normal way. It's usually you drink a revi'it, you maybe take a small break and breathe a bit in the middle, and then continue drinking. That's the time you should drink the most of the revi'it. Some poskim are even more lenient, and they say you drink the revi'it in a time it takes to eat half a loaf of bread, which is a few minutes. It's a few minutes. How do we paskan? Lechatchila, we do the most machmir shita. Especially it's not so hard, as we will explain in a moment. And if someone is in need, it's very hard for him to drink fast or whatever. So he can take his time drinking, but just to drink it without stopping in the middle. Just to drink it, take sips without talking and schmoozing in the middle of drinking the revi'it. So if we follow the more stringent opinion, one needs to drink most of a revi'it, okay, a bit more than 50% of a revi'it, in the time it takes to drink a revi'it. Okay, so you have time to drink and breathe in between. You don't need to choke on drink.
So I got confused. So you're saying you could actually drink just half of the Kiddush cup?
Most of it. So a bit more than half. Let's say.
The average Kiddush cup is a revi'it or not?
I didn't mention Kiddush cups. My guess is that um, most of the Kiddush cups you have a reveat of wine inside it, for sure, according to the Grachne, and probably even according to the Chazon Ish, because this cup has in it more than the reveat according to the Chazon Ish, which is a larger measurement. Okay,
What
so
was the time again? How quickly do you have to drink it?
so you need to drink most of the reveat. Okay, most of the reveat. Let's say 50 cc's. Okay, 50 cc's. It's more less than that, but let's say 50 cc's. In the time it takes to drink a whole of it, which is a bit more than 80 cc's. So, in other words, what I'm saying here is, you don't need to stand with a watch and say, "Ready, set, go," and drink. As long as you drink it continuously, without not taking sips and trying to taste the flavor, just drink it in a regular way and drink it without talking in the middle. You are fine. You are fine.
What's wrong with doing it slowly? Well, you suggested right at the beginning we should do everything slowly.
So you drink the wine. We drink the wine.
So
You say, why not to?
enjoy it.
You're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah,
That here comes to another maybe question of how people, the difference between the wine of today and the wine of the past, and how we used to drink wine in the past and how we drink wine today. Wine in the past, you didn't like turn it around, swirl it, and then smell it, and then look at it. You just drank it. Okay, just drank it. It was more of an important drink. Maybe perhaps like we drink beer today. You drink it. Okay, drink your beer. You just drink it, and that's it. Today it takes very small sips. There is something of drinking a bit, and then also sometimes part of enjoying it, sometimes taking it slowly, but sometimes also enjoying it is just drinking. Now, it's not a huge amount. It's not as if I'm telling you, drink a whole cup like this size, a pint of a beer, right?
It's only about 4 of them. It's quite a bit.
Yeah. But it's not, it's altogether, it isn't so much altogether.
It is.
I mean, it is much, but it's not a lot. If you take a cup and you drink most of this, so that's a lot. But if you take the smaller measurement of the grach na'eh and drink most of that, okay, most of the cup, so then you don't get to such a big amount. Okay, and there's also something of drinking most of the cup. It's drinking most of the cup. So if you don't want to drink too much wine, don't take a huge goblet of wine. Okay, just take a normal, regular cup of wine. Okay, so that's about the measurement, how much to drink and how much time to drink. We'll just maybe learn one more halacha about it, of what kind of wine do we drink. And in the times of Chazal, they used to have wine, and also used to dilute the wine with water. And the normal way of diluting wine is one measurement of wine for 3 measurements of water. So wine was diluted in 3/4 more or less. Okay, it's a quarter wine and 3/4 water. Why? Maybe the wine then was stronger. Maybe they used to drink it more. So you can't drink so much wine, you'll get drunk. Well, there is something in Pesach to be a bit happy. Okay, I wouldn't say drunk, but a bit happy from drinking the wine. Our wines today, or because we aren't used to diluting them, or because the grape juice, for example, already comes diluted. Some of the grape juice are already diluted. They might have 25% water in them. Some have less, some have more, depending on the grape juice. We don't dilute the wine we drink today. Also, if someone drinks red wine, dry table wine, and you dilute it, he won't like it usually. But you can't make a mixture of sweet wine together with grape juice, of dry wine together, diluted with grape juice, and then you get something which is more diluted. If you have 100% wine and you want to dilute it and you enjoy diluted, so you can also do that. Okay, but in the olden days, they used to make a mixture of water. Today, we say you can add water as long as you have at least 50%, okay, or 51% grape juice or water. Okay, so if you buy 100% grape juice, you can add a bit less than half water.
You can dilute it up to 50%.
Up to 49%, yes. To make sure you have at least 51%, at least most of it should be wine. You should also make sure that sometimes it already comes with a mixture of water in it, so then you just don't dilute it too much. What kind of wine you should drink? Lechatchila, wine. Wine is wine, okay? And lechatchila, red wine, as long as it's a good wine, because usually red wines are better than white wines. But if for someone it's too hard to drink wine, or he prefers white wine, so you can drink grape juice, and you can also, let's say, make a mixture of wine and grape juice. And if it's someone it's very hard for him to drink, as I said, in the end, the amounts, and it's true, it is. You can get to 200 milliliters through all of the night of the Seder. 200 milliliters is just more than a cup. It's just a bit more than a cup for all the Seder. 4 cups, okay, so it's not so much in there to drink, and I think someone who can drink wine and can handle it, and he can still say the Haggadah, and he'll enjoy it in a Seder. So you should drink wine. Otherwise, you should find a way of maybe perhaps diluting it with water or making a mixture. Usually, I start with a mixture of grape juice and wine, and then as I get on towards the Seder, so I change it to more wine. But then it depends each one according to what they enjoy. According to what they enjoy. Should try to fill up the cup until the end of it, or towards the end of it, because that's it looks nice. It looks nicer. Okay, so and that's why I said if you have a big, try not to take a big cup. If you don't drink all of it, take a smaller cup, a nice cup, and then fill it up towards the end of it. One more halach. I can see we have another minute. We try to drink the wine. We drink the wine by haseva. Perhaps we'll talk a bit about it more next week, although I might be in the base, so we'll do it on Zoom. Drink the wine by haseva, derech cherut, in a way of freedom, and Be'ezrat Hashem, next week we'll discuss what happens if one forgot to drink wine by haseva, leaning on his left side. Okay, but that will be the topic for next week. So next week we'll be learning also about the amount of eating matzah and how much matzah do we need to eat, and also about the mitzvah of haseva.
Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov. Thanks, Rabbi.
We have a safe and time and geula for everyone.
Thank you.
For all of
Thank you.
All to
All to.